Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Elicit, which is a really, really helpful AI tool that is different than ChatGPT, but I think it can help a lot of college students in their writing and researching. Ugh, I hate Duo. It always makes me log in and takes forever. Okay, wait, pause. So you're probably wondering, what is Elicit and why can't I just use ChatGPT? And when can I use Elicit to help me? So basically, Elicit is an AI model that will compile different sources from different scholarly articles and give you an outline of summaries and findings and stuff like that. And then you can compare different articles, chat with them, and we're going to run through a lot about specifics, and I'm going to demonstrate how to use these tools specifically. But one very important thing about Elicit is that you need to go into it with a research question. So if you have a class where you have a specific prompt, or you have to write a paper on something you discussed in class, so you already have a kind of direction for that paper, Elicit is the perfect tool to use because you're just going to plug that in. However, if you don't have a research question, you're going to need to get to a point where you do know what you're studying and what you want to look more into, and then you can head over to Elicit. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of give a rundown on how to use Elicit. So I'm going to type in my research question, which is, how does social media usage impact mental health among college students? And then just look that up. And as you can see, it takes a second to load, but it's going to pull up different scientific articles, and it'll also show a little summary of the findings. And on top, you'll have a summary of all of the papers. So scrolling down, you can see we have a variety of different articles and then summaries of these articles. So it's really helpful to get an overview of what the information on the internet is regarding and relating to your source. But another fun little part of Elicit is you can add the columns, and those will summarize different parts of the articles. So I want to know the main findings, and as you can see, I just clicked on manage columns and added main findings, and it'll generate that for me for all of them. And even beyond that, if I want to ask a question and I want to figure out something in these articles that isn't something simple like summary methodology, I can type that in, and Elicit will generate and go through these different articles and find that for me. So I'm asking, what are different qualitative data points that these studies gave? And it's creating a column right for me. Super simple. I haven't even looked at these articles. I don't even have to yet because I know what I'm working with, and I can have an overview of these articles in seconds, which is really, really helpful. Additionally, if I find that these aren't enough, I can load more articles and it'll just show me more. And now I have 16 different articles I can look at. I could have infinitely many. Now I'm going to go in deep with 3 of these different articles. As you can see, I'm clicking on them, and I'm looking at the ones that have to do with COVID-19 because that's an overarching theme. So by clicking the little check mark and scrolling down, I can add a new step and click on that button. Exactly. And I can chat with these papers, which is a really new, interesting beta aspect of Elicit, and I can ask it fun questions. So I'm asking, what are gaps in research in these 3 papers? And it'll just generate them for me. And as you can see, it generates it super quickly, but it also shows the specific source where it comes from. So I'm clicking on the footnote. We can see that comes from the article by Haddad, and the second one also comes from her. And then the third one is from Jane Cooley. Beyond that, I can ask it more questions, which I'll be doing in a second. So I can type in the little box, are there contradicting results in these? Oh, oops, I made a typo. Of course, typos are normal, but I don't know what I'm doing in these papers. Okay, if so, what are they? And then it'll generate it for me once again. Sometimes it takes a second, but even then, this is much faster than having to go through and figure it out yourself. And as you can see, again, you have the different footnotes, which show what article it's coming from, which is really fascinating and really fun. And then you can go in when you're writing your paper and look at these and find the specific quotes, obviously because you don't want to entirely rely on AI, but it is really helpful to narrow down. Okay, now adding another new step, I can get a list of concepts relating to the topic. So I'm going to look up tips to reduce social media use, and just go, and it'll search for papers and find commonalities. This one takes a long time, so I've sped it up. But as you can see, it'll talk about digital detox strategies and different sources it comes from. Additionally, it is very clear about when the information comes from a language model, so you know when you're getting your information from a direct source versus a source that might not be as reliable. And then if you click on it, it'll show you relevant quotes, and you can go straight to the paper and research that, which is really easy. It's really easy to go from Elicit to the actual paper it's coming from, so it's very direct. I'm just scrolling down. See, it's created almost 50 tips to reduce social media usage. So it's really great. At the top, you have summaries. Then it will generate different articles for you, which you can also sort based on publication year, most relevant. You can add the columns, chat with papers using beta, ask it any questions you want, and it'll always show you the direct source it's coming from. You can access that source, and then you can ask it and find tips to reduce social media use or anything like that, and it'll show you and generate different themes within a topic, and you can go directly to that source from Elicit. And what's really nice is it saves it all. So it'll save as a notebook, and you can access it whenever, and it's right there. Super simple, super easy. I know some people are hesitant to use a new AI tool, so I'm just going to show a comparison to ChatGPT and show how much of a considerable difference Elicit can make. So I'm just typing in the same question, and ChatGPT is going to generate a really full-fleshed answer to this question about positives and negatives and different usage patterns and social media identity. So it's really great if you want an overview. But now I'm going to ask it something that I find very interesting. I'm going to ask about scholarly articles, specifics, because if we're writing a research paper, we can't just have an overview. Obviously, in a college course, if you're writing something that's serious, you're going to need to cite real scholarly articles with real evidence. So on the surface, it looks like ChatGPT is able to do this. We get 6 or 7 different articles that have the authors and the summary, 8 articles and a conclusion. However, when we look deeper, I was going to type within, but it says for a more in-depth understanding, you have to explore the studies. But then when you go to click on the links, some of them don't even click on, like you can't even click on the link, or the link isn't found. So only 1 out of the 8 actually takes us to a genuine accessible study. Half of them you can't even click on, and then 2 of them the page has not been found. So ultimately this is not a very successful trial, and Elicit is a really helpful way to get true scholarly articles that you can access, that you can read, that you can ask direct questions about in a very simple and quick way, which is helpful when you have a ton of research to do and not a lot of time and you don't know how to navigate it all.